The topic is anger. And we're going to see that Jewish literature, over the thousands of years we have been a people, have a lot to say on this topic. All right? Good. Let's start by seeing the words of the very wise King Solomon in Kohelet. And he says, Al tevahel beruchacha lekois ki kas b'chei kesilim yonuach. Don't be quick, don't be hasty in your spirit to be angry, because anger, in the end, rests in the lap of fools. It's a very foolish thing to do. He does not tell us why. We'll have to rely upon the many, many other commentators that talk about this topic endlessly in the Torah, and we're going to see stories in the Torah, and we're actually going to see that the greatest prophet that ever lived missed out, according to the Rambam, on his greatest mission ever because of this one challenging trait that we are all working on all the time, 24/7. Yes, even in my sleep I have to control my anger. Oh dear. Oh dear, 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 dear. It says the Gemara, and there's so much written on this topic. I've just brought for this semester a little smothering of sources on this. But anyone here have bad temper? Put your hands up. No one.
A little bit.
A little bit. A little bit. Comes down a little bit. Something, little things trigger you off, right?
Like, I don't get mad at people. Like, I hold it in.
You don't get mad at people.
I mean, I get mad.
You get mad at animals? What you
No, I get mad. No. Like, I get mad, but like I don't express my anger.
Okay. We're going to talk about that. That's better than expressing your anger, as opposed to expressing your emotions, which is a good thing to do. Yeah, we're going to talk about that as well. Yeah. Actually, you're all lying. You will get angry. It's impossible. It's impossible not to feel anger. Do you temper? Do you ang out on it? You act out on your temper? Very, very. That's true. That is absolutely true. Okay. Says the Gemara. Reish Lakish Amar. Reish Lakish, actually a very interesting individual, one of the leading commentators, great rabbis of his day, was actually a bandit. Used to be a thief that would hijack people on the streets and take their money. He says, Amar kol adam shekoes, any person who becomes enraged, im chachamhu, if this person was a chacham, a wise person, before they got angry, chachmaso mistaleket, their wisdom is going to leave them. Mimenu ve'im navihu, and if he's a prophet, nuvuasa mistalek mimenu, and if he was a prophet, that he worked and he became a level of a navi, he's going to lose nevuah. Now we'll see that wisdom is very much connected to controlling one's emotions, and prophecy was extremely connected to controlling our emotions, to the degree that if a person got angry or upset or irritated, then nevuah, the prophecy, actually left them. They couldn't remain a prophet. And we see many examples of this in Jewish history of Nevi'im. David HaMelech used to calm himself down by listening to music. Right? That's the harp, kinor of David, harp or violin, whatever it was, would calm him down so that he could be in a calm state in order to receive nevuah. So we're saying up to this point that in order to be wise, in order to be calm, by the way, whenever I teach this class or this series of classes, I always get angry the next day. I'm just warning you, if you see me tomorrow, don't come up to me, okay? Because when I start preaching this stuff, I get tested and it doesn't work out so well. I'm kidding, Emily. I'll be angry later on today. Okay, so we see a connection between spirituality, our connection to God, our connection to wisdom, and this very negative trait of anger. Says the Rambam that of all the traits that we have, this one of kas, of anger, is one that you're going to have to pretty much totally obliterate from your range of character traits. Other traits have good, positive application. We spoke of that already, right? That's been the theme of this semester. Every negative trait has a positive trait, right? Every negative always has a positive. We said jealousy is not good. Okay, then we have positive jealousy, being inspired by someone and saying, oh, I want to be like that. There's always a positive that comes out of it. Anger, it does have a positive, but it's very, very, very small. There's a small window where this trait has any real benefit for the person or for society. We'll see later on, it's more as an educational tool. That's really what it is. Yes, Rachel.
I was gonna ask that. Like, why Hashem created it?
It has some positivity. It really does. You shouldn't sit the Rambam. You can't just sit around and be like, you know, totally. There should be a certain passion. However, acting on your anger. Right? Kids sometimes need to see you angry. Right? If a kid has something life-threatening, for example, you see a kid run to the street, and you've told them 1,000 times, don't run to the street. You don't say, no, don't do that. You're going to get squished by a truck and become pizza. You say, no, 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 no. Right? You got to show anger. It's purely external.
Is that Hashem shows anger?
Oh, that's a good question. Yes, very, very good. We're going to talk about Hashem gets angry as well. What does that mean? Hashem doesn't get angry. It's a metaphor. Right? We want Hashem. By the way, when Hashem gets angry, not good things happen to the people. Right? There's some rebuke that is coming our way. The what? That's right. Hashem takes our iPhones away for being naughty. That's absolutely right. Ubale. It works with my daughter. I don't know if anyone over there. She doesn't have an iPhone, thank God, not yet. Ubale kas. People who are frequently angry. That's what we're talking about. People who are angry people. By the way, you all know people like this who get angry all the time? Mm-hmm. Yeah, everyone does, right? Everyone knows someone. Really, you want to know someone like that? Neighbor. Leo's never like that. Leo's always happy and smiling. It's hard to believe there are people out there who you're going to meet who are constantly angry and irritated. Like all the time, right? Oh, but you're not going to meet them though. You'll be fine. Ubale case in Chayim Chayim, he says people are constantly angry. Their life isn't a life. Very interesting words of the Rambam. By the way, once again, this is in the laws of Hilchot Deyot, laws of conduct, in the same book that talks about tefillin and kosher and Shabbat, all the laws. Familiar with? He starts talking about this character trait. He says, you think they have a life? That's not a life. It works in English too. Lefikach, that is why. Sivu lehitrachek min hakas. We are commanded to distance ourselves from anger, until shiyanhigatzmo. A person is able to direct themselves, control themselves. Shelo yargish afilu devarim hamechasim. So that even when stuff that happens to them, which should make them angry, doesn't make him angry anymore. In other words, there's certain things that validly should make you angry. Someone upsets you, someone slaps you, someone cuts in front of you in traffic, right? Someone takes something without your permission, all the stuff that normally will make you angry. He says, you may get to a point where all that stuff is like, the question is why and how. We're going to have to figure that out as well. This is easier said than done, right? Hannah Newman, it's not easy. You don't get angry, do you? You're calm now. Wait till you have kids. Kids are trained to drive you nuts, by the way. That's what they're paid for. Just wait. They just constantly, they know the button that triggers you off, and they were like, boop, 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 right? And you have to be, oh, calm. And you're going to lose it. I'm telling you now, you're going to lose it with your kids, and you're going to regret it afterwards. Maybe our teachings over here will lessen the explosion before they draw all over your walls or throw away something. I remember my daughter Bracha, she's a character. I bought a new phone years ago. It was a BlackBerry, one of these phones, and she liked playing with it. I said, "Now give it to Abba." She's like, "Ah." She was young, and she went to the stairs and she threatened to throw it down. And I was coming close. I was like, "No, no." She went, smashed the whole thing. What? Gutsy, yeah. And then she laughed and ran away. Now she's one. Out of all the kids, by the way, she's actually a very, very, very wholesome young girl. It's completely not like her. But at that moment, she did it, and I had to work on my anger at that point. I was in shock. I was like, Hakas Gorem says the Or Chasadik. Now the Or Chasadik we've quoted a little bit. This is an excellent book, which is a thick book, but basically goes all through the character traits, negative and positive. He couples up negative and positive. Okay. So anger is coupled with the opposite. What's the opposite of anger, by the way? You want to know?
Serenity.
Serenity, that's a good word. Oh, I like that, serenity. Oh, one second, let me absorb that word for a second. Oh, I feel much better. Okay, that's actually not the answer to the question, but it's a good thing to have. And it helps. Well, make no mistake, it helps. What's your bit of anger? That's good. These are all good. Mercy is all good. In other words, what makes a person angry is going to be the opposite of that. Intelligence is also good. Very good. Very good, yeah. You know what she said? gaiva, ego. Ego, right? Ego is on par with anger. The two are connected. That's what makes a person angry. So the opposite of ego is humility. Interesting. We'll see how that connects. It's a very important connection. Hakas gorim azot ladam. Anger causes a person to be stubborn. Umachmat hakas lo yechaneh v'gam lo yodeh ala emet. See, another problem of anger is that a person gets stubborn. They're not willing to listen to you, no matter what evidence you show them, and any form of truth you do show them, you're going to throw away. So it ends up ruining everything else in your life. Says Pirkei Avot, and I didn't bring this down for some reason. I don't know why, but we'll do it outside. Says Pirkei Avot, Ethics of the Fathers. There are actually 4 types of people in the world. You can divide the entire world into 4 groups, Kayla. 4 groupings. Write these down. If the rabbis thought it was good enough for inside Pirkei Avot, it's worth us learning as well. There are 4 types of people in this world. Forget the Russians and the Pakistanis and the French. Forget that. That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. Yes.
What part in the book are we in right now?
Right now we're on page 75. I'm going to do something from outside the book, and then we're going to go back in.
Okay.
Good? Fabulous. Let's have a look in Pirkei Avot. And Pirkei Avot says there are actually 4 types of people in the world. Number 1, people who anger easily, but calm down quickly. They get angry very easily, but they calm down quickly. Number 2, people who anger easily, but calm down slowly. Right? It takes a lot to calm them down. Number 3, people who quick to anger, there's quick to anger, slow to calm down. There's quick to anger. Oh, sorry, this is fast. I'm sorry, this is wrong. I've gone mad.
But then it's the same thing.
I've gone mad. Yes, I get it. Yes. Sorry. Right, so they quick to anger, slow to calm down. People are quick to anger, but quick to calm down. Yeah? That makes more sense, yeah?
It's the same thing.
Oh, you're right. Slow to calm down. Slow. So quick to calm down quickly, and calm down slowly. Sorry, don't get angry. Calm down slowly, okay? So it's quick to anger, slow to calm down. Quick to anger, slow to calm down. Hey, what's left? I should have done a different order.
Slow to anger.
Right, people are slow to anger, thank you. People are slow to anger, and they are quick to calm down. Right, and then we have the final one, which is people who are slow to anger, but are very slow to calm down. That's right. That's correct. Those are your 4 types of people. Which of those 4 would you say are the best of the bunch?
1.
Right. People who are, no, not 1.
3.
4.
People who are slow to, no, here, number 4. People are slow to anger, but quick to calm down. Where's that? Quick to calm down. Here, number 3.
No, I don't think
Slow to anger, quick to calm down. Right?
Yeah.
Very slow to get there, but once they're there, they're quick to calm down. So this is the best. Right? This, I believe, Pirkei Avot calls a chassid, like a great person. I can't remember the exact notion. Right? Fantastic. They're the best. What's the worst of the 4? Quick people who are anger easily, but calm down slowly. It's quick to get there, it takes a long time to get over it. This is the worst. Right? This is the worst. Right, this is the Rasha. This is a really bad person. Okay? So there's a couple of things we can, let's write this out. So we get it. Who anger easily. Okay, those are our 4 types. 4 types of people. Okay, so what can we see from this already? 4 types of people in the world. All of you are in one of these 4. Would someone like to have a question on this, maybe? Anything you have to say about this? Yes.
Is this just you get angry at like anything, or you get angry at a person? Or
Could be anything.
How do you define
Just-
anger?
That's also good. How do you define as well?
No, you're not
Hold on to that.
frustrated.
Hold on to that. Could be frustration.
Yeah.
Seems to be that you act out on it. Okay? Having an insight is good, but you act out upon it, and it could involve screaming or shouting, losing your temper, as you understand it. Yeah?
Does it actually say like in your camera, like on this like number 3 is on say like that statement is defined as conceit?
Yes, it does.
So, but that's not.
Yes,
right?
it does. Why is it not right?
Because you can just like define a person by just like that statement. Like,
So number 1, we're defining people by one of these 4 categories. Ask a better question. Why is there no 5th category? What's the 5th category?
People don't get angry.
People don't get angry.
That's not-
Since everybody gets angry.
That's what I'm saying. So there's 2 things we can learn out from this little chart which the rabbi decided to put down in Pirkei Avot. 1, all deal with anger. There is no person who doesn't feel it. And number 2, you can decide which group you put yourself in. Nachon? You can decide which group you put yourself in. You'd be like, you know what? Today I'm gonna be one of these people. When stuff irritates me, it's gonna take a lot of me to get there. Once I'm there, I'm gonna put it down and I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna calm down.
What's your name?
Number 1 is all deal with anger. This is everyone. There's no 5th category, right? No 5th, right? And 2, you can decide which group. You can decide where you want to put yourself. You have a choice. And I always say, when I came to America, I heard the expression, "You make me so mad." Right? That's an American expression. I didn't really grow up with that. Hear that expression? You make me so mad. And so I did something to someone, I don't know what it was. And like, you make me so mad. And I was like, I don't make you make myself mad. What are you blaming me for? What's this nonsense? You decided to get mad with me. That's your problem. I didn't say that because she would have punched me. But the truth is, we are able to. Is it yes?
I know someone who.
By the way, of all the topics I do this semester, this one out of all of them get people the most involved. There's something about this topic that really gets people like, you know what I'm saying? This is a real red flag when it comes to dealing with friends, family, and future spouses. Future spouses. Right here. Yeah, sorry.
So I know someone who, like, when something bothers them, they like, keep it in for a while, and then whenever it seems like that situation is over, like, then that's whenever they sort of get angry.
So-
Literally, they calm down after they like.
Okay. So
express
we're going
it,
to see,
they
Shane,
calm
that
down quickly, but
we've not
what-
said anywhere that you're going to keep it in.
What category?
No one says you keep it in. Controlling is one thing. There are other outlets, other things a person should do in order to try to overcome this. There's things and techniques, but we're going to see that as we go through. But no one says you just hold it in and then suddenly like explode at the end. That defeats the entire purpose. Okay? Yes, Lara.
As a continuation to her question, how if you see a person and you think, oh wow, that person is category number 3, really slow anger.
Yeah.
How do you know if he's not just penting it up, or if he's really that type of severe?
You know, I don't know if there's a difference. Penting it up is not good. And it's impossible to know. But having said that, better they pent it than take it out on me, you know what I'm saying? You know? Better they try to like work through it. So I don't know. You don't know, that's between them and Hashem. But I'll tell you something, I don't exploding on me. And some people, you just touch them, I mean not physically, do something and then they like, you know, and it all comes out, you know? I had a great analogy for this, by the way. I think I mentioned in my book. Oh, I hope I did. You get into an elevator, and there's people in the elevator. And as you walk out the elevator, you touch someone with your arm. You just brush against them. And they're like, ow! What are you doing? And they start shouting at you. And you're like, oh my God, get a life. I just touched you with my arm. Why are you going so mad for? But if I told you they had sunburn on their arm and it was very, very painful, then it makes sense, right? I mean, it's not justifiable that they lose it with you, but it becomes understandable. Many people have emotional sunburn on some part of their personality. And you'll say something, and they will suddenly explode. You'll be like, where did that come from? What is that about? And actually, it's not anything that you could have even detected, because it's something that happened to them in the past, and it just kind of like, it's just, you touched that part of their personality that they need to be working on. And we'll see later on, by the stuff that makes you angry is actually the stuff you made to work on. That's really your, anger has a personal benefit that it shows you what's important to you. It shows you what's important to you. Okay, let's do that piece of Gemara. Then I'll tell you a very funny story, which may or not be true. I don't think it is true, but it's a famous story. I always tell in yeshivas. And it goes like this. Look inside. This is the Gemara. The Gemara says, B'shlosha devarim adam nikar b'koso, b'kiso, u'b'kas. You can identify a person's true nature by 3 things. Kiss, kos, kas. What's kiss? Pocket. What does that mean? You can judge a person by their pocket.
And money.
Their money. That's right. What they spend their money on, how they spend the money, where they invest their money, what they do with their money, the charitable givings they have with their money, what they don't give charitable givings like. There's a lot you can judge about a person by money. That's number 1. Number 2, kos. What's kos? A cup. What is that cup filled with? Alcohol. What a person is like when they are a little tipsy, drunk. When a person is drunk, the true nature of the person goes in. As the Gemara says, Nichnas hayayin, phones away please. I'm not going to lose my temper. Nichnos hayayin. I can't talk about this topic and lose my temper, right? I'll be like, I completely defends the purpose of him being alive. At least there's 1 hour I've got to be calm. Nichnas hayayin, the wine goes in. Yotzeha, out comes the
Truth. True nature.
secret, the sod. Right? The secrets come out. Right? You know all about them when they're drunk. Some people are like really, really happy drunk. Yeah, I love everyone. And some people are completely middle. I have a guy in my synagogue who unfortunately drinks a little bit too much at Kiddush, but he happens to be such a better person when he's drunk. I'm not, by the way, let me be very clear when I say this, I'm not advocating getting drunk at all. Okay? Happens to be that when he gets drunk, he's a very nice guy. And some people are just like miserable and nasty.
So how does that give away their true nature?
Because when the wine alcohol goes in, all their inhibitions are being moved away, and suddenly you get to know what they're all about.
So what if they're like a happy drunk? Does that make them a better person?
There's something going on with them. It's a revealing. Listen, I'm not saying you should basically like, if you don't know what someone's like, could you drink that please? Could you drink that all the way down? Yeah, all the way down. Now, what do you have to say? Boom, boom, boom. You don't want to be doing that. You also don't want to see it. But when a person's drunk, the Gemara says, the secrets come out. You get to see what they're about. It's important to them. They'll tell you certain things which, in a sober state, they may not have actually revealed to you. And you know what happens when I drink a little bit too much? Which doesn't happen too often. You get to see the real me. I go to sleep. Because that, for me, is the greatest thing. Right? Because the secrets are, I am constantly tired. Okay. The third, however, this is Rashi, by the way, the koso, im dato miyushevet alav biyaino, if this person is controlled when he drinks, right? Bekiso, kishanosev anosein im ben adam, what they're like in terms of business, im be'emuna, who else, if they act with faith in their business, are they respectful and business people, they treat people well. Well, you can see their character. You can't say like, oh, in business they're disgusting, but but they're very nice people. They're like, no, it doesn't work that way. And finally, bekaso, she'eno kapdan yoter medai. They don't get angry, they're not extremely demanding, and they're not upset too much by most other people. They're not cup done. They're not muckpit on everything. They're not so. Everything is like has to be good, and they're always getting angry and irritated and angry. Okay, you can see a person's character like that. So the story I want to tell you is, which is the famous story, which I don't know if you've heard before, but it's one of these ones they always tell yeshivas growing up. So since you missed out on yeshiva, pretty much all of you growing up, and seminary in Israel, you'll get it from me. So the story is told of a girl who's in seminary in Israel, who heard this Gemara from a teacher, a very famous Gemara, Kis Kos Kas. So she started dating a guy, or got a date with a guy. She wanted to know whether this was a nice guy. So she couldn't ask him about money because that's rude. And she couldn't give him alcohol because you just don't, drink alcohol. Or too much of the date, well, you shouldn't. So instead, she wanted to test his anger. So he picks her up from her parents' house and he starts driving. You heard the story before, anybody? No? And they get to a red light in Israel. Now, as you know, red lights in Israel, right? If you're there more than a millisecond of a second past the red light, what happens? That's right. Honky, honky. Like I always say, in America, they honk you as soon as it goes green. In Israel, they honk you while it's still red. At least in America, it turns red, green, red, green, In Israel, while it's still red, you're like, it's still red. It's like, it will be green soon. It's like a public service of the taxi service in Israel. So anyway, so it turns red, and she leans over, turns off the engine, takes the key out of the ignition, and throws it out the window. The guy's sitting there, like, the heck was that? Now everyone's honking, going crazy. Gets out of the car, goes to the side of the road, he's looking. He finds the key, he gets back in the car, puts it in the ignition, turns on the engine, starts driving. And he says to her very calmly, he says, "Excuse me, what was that about?" And she sits there and she's like, "I was testing you." What were you testing exactly? Well, I learned, the rabbi told me in Shir that you can see a person's character by what they're like when they're angry. And I was testing you to see if you were going to get angry. And he turns around and says, "Well, how did I do?" And she says, "You passed." And he said, "Well, you failed." And he turned the car around and dropped off back at home.
Of course.
So the story goes. Please.
If I got mad.
Please. Well, what?
Why she fail?
What? Because she did this horrible thing to him, so he just said drop back at home again. It's not a true story. I don't think it's a true story. I hope it's not a true story. But it's one of these stories that's been passed around the yeshivas and seminaries for so many years that if it hasn't happened, it will one day.
Wait, but would someone who get mad, like, would they be considered a bad person?
It's everyone gets
That's
mad.
just dumb.
Everyone gets mad. Everyone gets mad. There's no doubt about it. We're talking about people who are habitually angry people and constantly angry and can't control and do certain things when they're angry that you see, it's a red flag. So you can't say if you get angry then it's not, you can't say that. Everyone gets angry. We all lose it sometimes. We're seeing there's some people though who are constantly in a state of chaos and are always losing it more than like occasional, the car doesn't come out of the parking lot on time, right? The guys, they start shouting, getting angry with them. Hey, what about my car? Right? Someone does one thing to them, they're in traffic, and they're shouting, honking, screaming. These traits, this is very telling of what a person's real character is about. But they don't think, oh, they get angry with them, but I'm okay. No, it doesn't work that way. It don't work that way. If they get angry with them, eventually they're getting angry with you, and your kids and friends and everything else.
Maybe it's not testing how much you get angry, but about what.
So yeah, about absolutely what you get angry
What is
about.
important
Very,
for
very good. It's going to show you what's important to you. Right? If a person, I don't know, breaks a nail, right, because someone did something to them somehow, and they completely lose it with them, they're saying that this nail is more important than my relationship to you. If a person completely loses it in traffic, which is going to happen, especially driving in New York, you're saying, well, me being 3 minutes early because I can't let one person in front of me, right, although they're blinking to the side, they're blinking, like, I'm not looking, I can't see you. Of course you can see them. And they're saying that this is more important to me than. So it shows what's important to you. Now, I'm not saying you should walk around like completely calm all the time. But most people are not like that. There are some people who, it takes a lot to get them right. My father, he should live and be well. Very, very hard to get him angry. I don't remember him ever getting. He probably should have got angry with me as a kid, but I don't remember him ever getting. My mother was. But my father, very, very, very. I mean, it was when he did get angry. You hid under your sheets. But I look back. I don't remember getting angry. Maybe once with my sister, actually, now I think about it. But she probably deserved it at that time. But really, some people just calm all the time. Most people are not like that. I don't know why, actually. Right? So you shouldn't be completely like that. You should be passionate. The Rambam says you shouldn't be extremist. You've got to find the golden mean. The golden middle path, he says you should find. You shouldn't be too angry, but you shouldn't sit like a, right? You shouldn't give all your money away, but you shouldn't keep all your money. It's funny, but Jews aren't extremists. You've got to find the middle ground. That's what the Rambam says in Hilchot. You've got to find the middle golden mean, right? That kind of keeps you centered. Don't be an extremist either way. We're not into that. Okay, let's move on. So what are the reasons why this is? Why can't it be? Why, Kayla, can't we lose it all the time and go crazy? Now, what's the big deal? So one of the answers is because of social damage. Society ends up getting destroyed and damaged because of it. Go to page 76, halfway down. We'll go back to the Orchat Tzadikim. He has a lot to say on this. And he says, Bnei Adam, people, Keshehem koasim, who are angry, umachzikim bekasam, and reinforce it. They don't just get angry, they go there, angry. Ein masimim libam al ma sheosim. They don't focus on their actions. They're going to do things that are beyond it, that we would never do had they not been angry. They're going to do things to other people. You want examples of it? Shouting at someone. Right, screaming at someone. These are examples. We're going to see the Ramban, Nachmanides, in his letter that he wrote to his children, which is now studied regularly by people. He opens up his letter and says the best thing to do is be calm and talk quietly all the time. Just always in a calm, quiet voice. He says, anger. This is his opening statement in his letter. And it's not a long letter. It's like one page. Right? His tzivoy, his letter, like Gerata Ramban, and he opens and says, the most important thing is don't get angry. Every other bad trait is going to come out of this thing. Right? He says a person, that's what the Orchat Tzadikim says. They're going to do terrible things with their anger. Which they would never have done. Because anger takes out your intellect. Mikirbo from inside you. Right? Until you call, if you're going to act irrationally and you speak out in anger. Who asked me before about what defines anger? Shouting. And they're going to trigger disputes and quarrels. So, if a person gets angry by themselves, that's got its own problem. But we're saying the anger with other people, it's going to end up causing arguments and problems in society. Hakasen en lo chen b'nei habriot, he says. A person who's constantly angry, they have no grace in other people's eyes. People don't like them. Right? And people are going to hate them. You're causing people to hate you if you constantly get angry. And because of this, and no one's going to listen to you. No one's going to listen to you, no one's going to follow you. I mean, they do out of fear, but there's no relationship over there. An angry person is a burden on their family. Must constantly hear his anger and his complaints. Right? It's not good for your family either. You're constantly going to be like angry, and they're not going to respect you, not listen to you. And he says, let's say you have a person who's a great Torah scholar, right? A great genius of a person. Even if they learn Torah and have lots of good deeds, they're always helping people and doing chesed. En ma'olam lemedim menu, no one's going to learn from you. Your anger is going to ruin everything. Everything is going to be ruined because of it. Right? You're going to be stupid, and all the chesed, good things you do, not going to help. It's not going to help. You could be a genius, you could be doing kind deeds all day, but you lose your temper with people, it defeats the entire purpose of it all. Okay? Rashi actually says, based on the Gemara, that actually it leads to danger. People get angry, going to cause great danger to other people as well. So getting angry is connected to being a murderer. You're actually killing the person. Now that may be physical, right? I mean, look online how many people are killed through road rage, which is basically anger in a car. Right? Road rage? Every day in the newspapers, every day. People lose it, get angry, you know? Stuck in traffic, and people get killed. People stop cars and smash things and get angry and smash them. So that's your. Oh, it's a good story here, by the way. Can I just read you one story? I brought down the story for you. It's just too funny. I mean, it's not funny. It's actually terrible. But... Okay. Basically, a kid went for driver's education. You know, driver's ed, learn how to drive a car. This is the newspaper, the New York Times, about 10 years ago. So it says, or more, the driver's education teacher, the teacher of teaching driver's ed, was accused of having a student driver who was driving the car chase down a motorist who would cut them off so he could punch him in the face. The teacher, David C., quit on Thursday after being suspended. Earlier in the day, 23-year-old victim, John M., and his lawyer said they hoped Mr. C would be able to keep his job. Mr. C had taught health, physical education, and science at a middle school for 11 years. Here's a guy who's a very good teacher, and is just something less than wise. What happened? The police said this guy was with two students when another car cut them off. He told the driver, this young kid, who's learning how to drive, to chase the car.
It's a horrible
When they caught up to it, Mr. C got out and punched the guy in the face. Mr. C's car was pulled over for speeding. Right? Mr. M pulled up to tell the officer what had happened. The student driver was not charged. They didn't charge the driver who went to get him. They charged the teacher.
Well, they should charge the teacher.
Of course they should charge the teacher.
Not the driver.
The National Highway Traffic Administration says 1/3 of all fatal car crashes, 33%, of which 41,000 people died last year. This was 20 years ago, it's probably a lot more by now. Well, actually because of road rage. So 1/3 of that is because of road rage. That's in America. Can you imagine in Israel, where literally, I mean, more people die from car accidents than terrorism in Israel. I'm convinced. It has to be. Has to be. I mean, it can't be that the terrorists, you know, if they want to just wipe out the Jewish people, just like buy them more cars. I mean, just like that would, like, you know, chas v'shalom. But that would be the way to fix that problem. You know, it's a big problem. But imagine that 40,000 people from car accidents, 1/3 of them road rage. It's crazy.
Accidents or like situations?
41,000 situations of car crashes that lead to fatalities.
Mm-hmm.
1/3 of them are caused by road rage.
So I've also heard of people with road rage who like will shoot the other driver.
Oh yeah, that happens a lot.
Yeah.
They go into the trunk, pull out a gun, and
So creepy.
okay. So it's also not good for others. Also not good for yourself. It says Orach HaSadikim, bottom page 77. Hakas moneh lev adam mikol tovot. Anger denies a person all good things. Right? It's gonna know what you think. Oh, it's just affecting other people. No, it's not good for you. He says. Hakas mevatal kavanat lev ha'adam. Right? It is person with anger does not have a compassionate heart. Ve'en shchina shora b'toch hakas. And God's presence does not rest upon people who are angry. Hashem doesn't want to be involved in people and God doesn't want to be involved with people who have anger problems. That's what he says. You're affecting your own soul, your own spirituality. Turn over the page. Hakasan moneh ma'atzmo mosrim b'tochachot. An angry person can't learn or accept criticism. Maybe this is the reason why. person's angry, won't listen to you. I'm not listening to you, you know. Don't tell me. He ein adam rashai legalot. Lot of tav derachav because muharot. A person won't reveal. A person won't be able to criticize. Say, oh, you know what? You shouldn't be like this. You shouldn't act like this. All right? Because they know that the person's fury is going to overtake them. Right? So such people aren't smart. Angry people are stupid because they can't learn anything because they know it all. And if anyone tries to tell them something about themselves, they're not makabel. Yeah.
Are we defining irritation, annoyance, and pet peeves as part of anger?
I mean, they could all be triggers, I guess. You know? Some people have, certain pet peeve and they just get angry because of it. We all have stuff that irritates us. You know, the guy who, sneezes into his hand and tries to shake yours, or that's not a pet peeve, that's called, hygiene. Like, something's that irritates, but are we going to lose it? That's something else. So that's the Ochas Tzadikim. So he says, people get angry, they are affecting their own neshama, Hashem doesn't want to be with them, and they can't learn. Right? Because anger prevents you from hearing from another person because you don't like it, and people aren't willing to tell you something because they know if you know that friend you don't want to tell them because as soon as you say something they're going to explode in your face. That's what do. You don't say anything to them. Klalo shel davar ein hakasta mekabel shum mida tova. He says, in short, a person who habitually gets angry cannot achieve anything positive until they dispel anger from their heart. Says the Moranayim, that's the Chernobyl Rebbe. I think he's the father of New Square Hasidim. And he says something amazing. This is more, spiritual. And he says, every night, look inside, Shekol Laila Beit Aliyat Neshama, your soul leaves your body to some degree, not totally, you'll be dead, and goes up to Shemayim when you sleep. And there's a judgment on a person's soul every single night about the activities that day. Your soul is judged every single night. Shekol Laila Beit Aliyat Neshama, Kotevet Yad, a hand writes, as it were, Kol Ma Shechat Adam B'zeh Hayom, everything wrong you did that day. V'hinei im hayalo lev ragas, if they got angry that day, the hand doesn't write anything except they got angry. That's all it has to write. So every night there's a hand, as it were, that writes down all your activities. Your soul is judged every single night. There's a boop, 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 boop. They did this, they did that, good and bad. But if they got angry, that's all it writes. They lost it today. That's all the hand writes. Ma'acher, because the da beikula beiba ze mivi l'chol avera. Because once they get angry, they know the lot of sins. It's by definition. The ze lo alta biyado, v'salomar lo alta yado lichtov ella. That's all they have to write. The Gemara says nothing emerges in his hand but his anger. So he learns out that comment of the Gemara that when you get angry, nothing comes out of your hand except meaning that the hand that writes out what you did is not write anything except that you got angry. And that's enough. Yes, Emily.
So this is just the disembodied hand in heaven and your soul descends.
It's not literal hand. As it were, your activities are written down in the heavenly world every single day, every night when you go to sleep. Your soul is judged. That's what it means. It's not written down. So he's saying that that hand isn't a real hand. However, if a person gets angry, the writing only says he got angry. That's all that's written on your slate. That's it. Okay? And he uses that to explain a Talmudic statement that nothing comes out of a person's hand but his anger. What is that? It means the hand that writes this stuff down. Okay. We shall stop over there a little early because next class we're going to connect this topic with idol worship. We'll pick that up on Thursday, and we're also going to review the midterm on Thursday because the midterm is Thursday week. 1 week from Thursday. It's not. 2 weeks?
It's on the 17th.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, we have time. Well, it's next week. Oh, great, because I have midterms next week.
Yeah.
And not with you guys. Okay, so we're not reviewing. No problem. Until next week.